Okay, what's going on? So, today, slightly different video. I don't want this channel to just be about me travelling and gym and whatnot. There is other things I want to talk about on the channel, and today I want to delve into one of those topics. I want to talk about the topic of entitlement. So, as some of you guys know, I do a lot of courses, I watch a lot of YouTube, I absorb a lot of knowledge and content. And I was on a course, I'm doing a course at the minute, and one of the topics that came up was entitlement, and how you basically need to feel entitled to achieve goals. And it was quite interesting because no one's really talks about that. A lot of people talk about being confident and believing in yourself, but this level of entitlement has never really cropped up that much in terms of actually achieving a goal. So today, I'm going to try and break it down as much as possible and kind of like understand it myself and just kind of document it in case someone finds it interesting about this whole topic of entitlement and whether they can actually use entitlement to their advantage to achieve a goal or maybe an objective they're looking to achieve. So let's dive into it. Okay, so first off, let's start with confidence. So confidence, as defined by the Oxford Dictionary, is the feeling or belief that one can have faith in or rely on something or something. Now, let's actually look at the definition of entitlement. Entitlement, noun, the fact of having a right to something. And then you have the final step, which I'll explain why I'm saying this, is naivety. Noun, lack of experience, wisdom, or judgment. So, entitlement, confidence, and naivety, in my belief, are actually linked. And the way I'm going to describe it is, when you, for example, you're applying for a job, you're probably confident in applying for that job because you actually going to apply for it. But is there a time span when, for example, in the process of applying for a job, you need that level of entitlement to say, right, I'm going to get this job? To borrow a quote from Coach Carter, the film, there's a really interesting quote in that film, which I'll put in now.
The gentleman, just because you deserve this doesn't mean they're going to give it to you. Sometimes you got to take what's yours. You ready to do this?
And he talks about how in life sometimes you've just got to take what's yours. See, what I mean by that is that you can be suitably qualified for that job. You can have all the qualifications, you can have the best CV, you can have the best resume, you can be perfect candidate for that job. But in some cases you may not get that job. And is that 1 or 2% or 3%, that marginal gain that will get you that job, is that entitlement? Is in saying to yourself, I'm getting this job, I deserve this job, I'm getting this job, and that is me putting my flag in the ground saying, that's my level of entitlement. However, one step past this is naivety. And I'm using this in relationship to before you've actually achieved a goal. Like I said before, you're applying for a job, you've got confidence, and you've got entitlement. And then after entitlement, there's naivety where you actually haven't done the work and you're relying too much on that entitlement. For example, I've drawn it out, apologies for my writing, but I'm going to actually explain this on like a graph sort of thing. So this is my shoddy little drawing. So it's not to scale, that's 0.0. And then you've got this element here, which is confidence. And this is where you have basic belief in yourself. Belief in yourself, you're going to achieve that goal. Then you have entitlement, and that's basically, it's the 1 or 2 or 5% that's going to, that belief system where you're going to achieve that no matter what. It's just going to happen. And that isn't, it's just going to happen because you know you're the suitable candidate for that job. And the final bit of that is naivety. Naivety is where, like, you, as I've just discussed, is where you go past the point of entitlement. This is where you relying too much on the entitlement to get you that job, and actually it's almost like your ego is playing into effect. And it's also, that's the point where it's like it's too much and actually it's actually a hindrance towards getting that job. So that graph right there, not drawn to scale of course, and shoddily with my handwriting, that is basically defining before you've achieved something. As in, this is me applying for a job. So now I'm going to produce something that is whilst you're in the job. So you've achieved the job. So now it's about retaining that job. So this is the second part of this. So you have, this is part 1, which you've just seen. So this is in the process of trying to apply for the job, where you've got entitlement, confidence, and naivety. Now you've got the next part of it. This is where you've got the job. And this is where your confidence is high because you've got the job. But also your entitlement is then high. But you don't have necessarily their naivety because you've achieved that goal. And this is what that graph looks like. Again, not drawn to scale, and it's basically to show that does entitlement, is it the missing piece? Move from a state where you have gone from trying to apply the job to then, with that level of entitlement, getting you the job. So you're now in that job that you want. And that is where I think that possible entitlement can be the marginal gain to get you the job in the first place. So basically what I'm trying to get at is, I think you need confidence. You need confidence for, you know, if you're trying to get in better shape, or you're trying to get a new job, or you're trying to achieve anything, you need a level of confidence. But that entitlement is that the difference between you going 100% full out or 110% or whatever you want to call it, versus not actually hitting the goal. But then the problem is, too far, you reach a point of naivety where you don't achieve the goal, because your belief system about your entitlement basically overrides action. And ultimately, action is what's going to get you the goal and going to achieve you the goal, as well as the right processes. But ultimately, it's the whole business of confidence and entitlement is what's actually going to achieve the goal. In the midst of trying to achieve the goal, you need the confidence and the entitlement, but almost need to be self-aware enough to not go into naivety. But when you've achieved the goal, you've then got the confidence and the entitlement, but there is no reason to have that naivety, because you've achieved the goal. And that ultimately leads to you then growing your confidence, and then you're going towards the next thing. To give my own kind of spin on this, I went to uni, study pharmacy, and in my third year of university, there was this exam called therapeutics. And I had a feeling I wasn't going to pass this exam, because it was so hard. There was about 80 lectures, 80 hours of content. Most of it was quite difficult. I really just struggled to understand it. So what I did was, I used to say to myself every single day, you're going to pass the exam, you're going to pass the exam. And then I changed that to, I've got this exam in the bag, I've got this exam in the bag. Obviously, I still had to take action. It didn't slip into naivety, it slipped into entitlement. Because it was a case of, I'm doing the work, and I've done the work. I've done the work all year to pass this exam. And when I went and sat in that exam, funny enough, I passed that exam, I got bang on the pass mark. And I genuinely believe that this was because of, one, obviously just believing I was going to achieve it, but two, this whole notion of confidence and entitlement. Confident enough to back myself when I pass the exam, entitled enough to know this is going to happen. It's inevitable. It's just going to happen. So not going past that point to naivety where I actually don't do any work for that exam. And then in the midst of proceeding with the goal, as in sat in that exam, there was confidence and there was entitlement. There's confidence, I've got it, I've done the work. Also entitlement, I've got this in the bag, but not naivety, because I'm in the process of completing that goal. And that is probably my accurate description of entitlement versus confidence. I think you do need to be entitled. Is entitlement the difference? Is it that marginal percentage, that 1, 2, 3% that's actually going to allow you to achieve the goal? But the problem is, if you go way past that, then you reach a point of naivety where you actually don't achieve that goal, and it probably sets you backwards. I actually think having like I said, that 1 or 2% or 3% or marginal percentage of entitlement actually can help you if used in the right way, and you don't perceive that entitlement for ignorance and for naivety. Oh, I don't know if that makes sense. Try to explain it, so hopefully you can go out and use entitlement for your benefit. Oh, thank you for watching. A slightly different video today, but it's something that's really been on my mind, because I'm just trying to understand this concept. No one's really explained it, and it's the first time I've heard a successful person who says you need to be entitled. Entitlement is sometimes seen as a bit of a, you know, a not necessarily a dirty word, but like it's not seen as a great word. But ultimately, if that's going to give you the edge, surely why not try and use entitlement to your advantage to get you the marginal gains that can help you achieve your goal. Right, thank you so much for watching. I hope it's been useful, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.